We also have with us our experts, Saba, Karim and Vijay Dahiya. Let me start by asking both of you, is this a par score on this pitch? Saba bhai, please start.
Not at all. I think 325, 350 would have been a par score on this track. But you know what, Osama, if you bat 50 overs, then you are expected to get to this kind of a score. I think India did well to start off by taking those 3 early wickets. And then the last 10 overs, India rode back in a splendid manner. The wicket of their captain taken by Kuldeep Yadav was very important. And then before that, Hardik Pandya, when he bowled Azmat of their off-cutter, I think those 2 wickets fell at the wrong time for Afghanistan. That is why they were not able to capitalize in the last 10 overs. So I think it is not a par score. This is a score on a flat track at Kotla. I think India should get this in the end.
Right. How did you read the pitch, Vijay bhai? Do you feel the pitch was a little different from what we saw during the South Africa-Sri Lanka game?
I think you had something to compare with. That's the reason why you might say it. But it was a beautiful wicket. I completely agree with what Saba has just mentioned. And the way they have batted, it also gives you an example that, it was till the last wicket. If you see the shots were hit by Mujib or some by Naveen-ul-Haq as well, gives you an example that it's a very good and flat sort of a deck. Phenomenal comeback by Indian bowlers, and that's our strength. And especially last 10 overs, they had wicket in hands, but in 41st, 2nd and 3rd, they lost 3 wickets in a row. And after that, the score that they were looking at, one time they were looking at anything close to 300. But it's a very, very good comeback by a bowling unit.
Do you also feel that Afghanistan's first priority was to preserve wickets and then try and get to I would say a low risk total? Because had they gone for say for example, had they made up their mind and tried to score 350 on this pitch, they might have got out for 180 or 200. Do you think their approach was right to get to the total that they have right now?
I think it's the wickets that they lost. Sorry, Saba, carry on.
Vijay,
I think it's the wickets that they lost. First wicket, first partnership for 30 odd, and after that they lost 2 quick wickets. And after that, it was more of a rebuilding sort of a phase. They had a 121 run partnership. It started a little slow because you don't want to lose too many wickets. They were already 3 down. Yeah. So that approach at that time was very cautious, and I think it was the right sort of approach. But you cannot start a game thinking like that, we're going to preserve some wickets and in the end we play aggressively, because there's no weak link as far as this Indian bowling is concerned. Yeah. So you cannot plan like that, I think the situation demanded like that, and that's the reason why that partnership was there, which started a little slow, but not capitalizing on last 10 overs. I think that was the big drawback for Afghanistan to finish where they are finished.
Yeah. Sababa, you were
that is why, Osama, if you can just jump in here.
Yes.
For such teams, the biggest challenge is how you pace your entire inning. For instance, in today's game, because they lost 3 wickets, they wanted to play in a conservative manner, which is perfectly fine. That's how in that partnership of 120, they did not take too many risks. Only in the later part of that partnership, you saw a higher strike rate from both that left-hand, right-hand batter. Yeah. But I think that's the point when if they had continued to bat in the last 10 overs, then maybe Afghanistan would have reached 300 or maybe crossed that mark of 300. And that is where experience matters. And that's where Afghanistan faltered. Although one has to admit that this is a spirited performance from Afghanistan, having been bowled by Bangladesh in the previous game for about 150 odd, the batting was under some kind of pressure. So it was good effort from him. But that's what Vijay also mentioned. If you lose your 2 main batters, Ibrahim Zadran and Rahmanullah Gurbaz in the 13th over, then it is difficult for you to accelerate from there on. Right. But you know what, Osama, let's talk about Jasprit Bumrah's celebration.
Absolutely.
Central point, Marcus Rashford, Man U fan,
Rashford, man. It's also Stanislas Wawrinka, you see.
Oh, all right. For me, that was the notable feature of this game.
But look at Bumrah I can spot a Manchester United fan here.
Oh, yes.
Well, absolutely. We'll talk about
United fans of life.
Yeah, let's talk about that performance. 4 wickets, a very crucial 4 wickets haul in the context of the match, especially his best figures in a World Cup. How crucial was his performance today, especially considering that at one point of time, it did look like that the Afghans are going to accelerate at the end, and they might reach that 300 run mark?
It's not that those 4 wickets are crucial. Again, Jasprit Bumrah is crucial for Indian side. He's the bowling captain for me. And the ability, whenever there's a partnership going on, whatever phase of the game, whoever is playing, he's got this ability to come back and take wickets. That's the reason why he's very crucial. You're absolutely right. Those 4 wickets were crucial. Is one of his best performances coming back. And look at this surface. There was not much on the surface, but the way he disguised that slower one is really good, and that's what makes him so special. And his short ball is also very lethal. He's got that Yorker, which is another armory. Another special thing in his armory, and that's why he's so dangerous. And doesn't matter where. If you saw against Australia, giving a breakthrough in the first over itself, and here making a strong comeback. So that's what makes him so special.
Absolutely. And when we are talking about Bumrah, we also need to talk about Siraj. His performance today was not up to the mark. And we were discussing this earlier today. Should Mohammad Shami had been in that situation, do you think the results would have been a little different?
Well, Mohammad Shami, if he had to play, then he would have played in place of Shardul Thakur, not in place of Mohammad Siraj. Mohammad Siraj on a flat deck, you still have to back him because he's still a learning stage for him, and he has done so well for India in the past. And with Jasprit Bumrah at the other end, there is so much of inspiration and learning for Mohammad Siraj. And any bowler on a flat deck like this, especially at Kotla, we can have a bad team. It's not that Mohammad Siraj was very expensive, but because he did not pick up any wickets, we are talking about him in that manner.
Yeah.
But having said that, I thought this was a very strong bowling performance from India on a flat deck. Talking about Jasprit Bumrah, he happens to be Rohit Sharma's go-to bowler, so that is why I think India remains a strong contender to win this World Cup title because they have Jasprit Bumrah in their ranks. Jasprit Bumrah can bowl with the new ball. We saw that today, and he can come back and pick up some decisive wickets. And that is why Rohit Sharma always looks to Jasprit Bumrah to make a comeback or to break such important partnerships. And I think that is why we saw Jasprit Bumrah picking up those 4 wickets in his spell today.
Right.
And the other thing we need to remember, when we have a bowler like Mohammad Siraj, he gets the license, just go out there and express yourself. Go out there and bowl with that pace. And he's that kind of bowler. He'll get you wickets and he'll be expensive as well. Maybe today was one of those days where he didn't get the wicket and he was on touch on the expensive side.
Right. What was your assessment of Shardul Thakur in this match, Vijay bhai?
I think again, this is what we were discussing. That Shardul has got that uncanny knack of giving you a breakthrough. Completely committed cricketer, taken a beautiful catch to dismiss. On that he was at fine line, very well judged catch. Every time somebody when you have Shardul Thakur on your side, you say he's going to give you his 100% effort, and that's what he's done. He's done reasonably well, and he's justified his selection as far as the bowling is concerned, and hopefully he didn't get a chance to bat.
When you also talk about India's bowling, you also have to credit some good captaincy from Rohit as well, because he identified that hitting the length is the only way to go on this particular pitch, and you could see how Bumrah got that early wicket, something that probably Siraj would have loved to do as well.
See, for Rohit, it was very, he really had to be quick to understand the surface and the kind of bowlers he wanted to utilize with the new ball as well as in the middle overs. And I thought Rohit did that quite well. After picking up those 3 wickets, if you notice in the middle overs with that partnership, Rohit Sharma had to resort to plan B. And plan B was to bring back Jasprit Bumrah for 1 or 2 overs, get Mohammad Siraj back in the mix, bring back Hardik Pandya. And if you notice that dismissal of Azmat, when Hardik Pandya bowled him, bowled that right-hander, it was Rohit Sharma who was really pumped up because that was such an important change at that point of time. So Rohit was in control of the entire innings. He knew that on a track like this, he has to be patient. He kept rotating his bowlers, and mind you, the 2 spinners bowled quite well. Kuldeep Yadav in a 10-over spell, 1 for 40, and even Jadeja for that matter, who I think, if I'm correct, he bowled the 46th to the 47th over, bowled 8 overs for just 38.
Correct.
It was a remarkable spell by both these left-arm spinners. So that's why I felt Rohit marshaled his resources quite well. And he looks to be very calm and composed. And I think that really augurs very well for this Indian side.
Absolutely. I also want to go back to Afghanistan's batting. Do you feel sending Azmatullah over Nabi, it worked in the favor of Afghanistan a little bit, Saba?
Yes, the middle order, if you notice, there are some emerging talents coming through. So I think Afghanistan wanted to have that kind of balance. That's why they have Gurbaz at the top. They have Ibrahim Zadran, both of them highly experienced. And they wanted to push in Azmat, who was just coming to the side. They also had Shahidi, the captain.
Yeah.
And then I had a number 6, Mohammad Nabi, who's kind of Mr. Afghanistan. He's played about 150 odd one-day matches for Afghanistan. But they do not bat deep. And I think that is why they were not able to capitalize in the last 10 overs. They only had Rashid and Mohammad Nabi. So once Mohammad Nabi got out, it was the responsibility of Rashid Khan to prop up Afghanistan. Although he tried, but then the skill and the dynamics of the Indian bowlers in the death overs was so good that Afghanistan was not able to push that score to 300.
Right. Vijay, what is your assessment of Afghanistan in general, their batting in general? Because we have talked about their bowling and how these spinners as well as the pacers have made a name for themselves. They have done well in different formats. But when it comes to batting, this is where Afghanistan seem to lack. And it hurts them in a tournament like this because they had a plan. They wanted to execute it in this match on a pitch where they could have, but they ultimately failed.
I wouldn't say they failed. I mean, they definitely gained something or the other. You have to understand one thing. They come into this tournament. Nobody's saying they're coming into this tournament as favorite or somebody who's going to get into last 4. In our pre-show also, we talked about that weak link is their batting, and especially as if you get into a 50 over or a test match cricket, that's where the problem lies with them. And if you look at what they have, I mean, in batting department, they have something. They have players who can show you a bit of a brilliance, but playing a long inning against a quality bowling side, you need a lot of character in that. And unfortunately, they have not done that against the good teams, and that's the reason why it's always that gap has always been there. You talked about batting order. If they say Nabi, Saba just touched upon how many matches he's played, his experience and everything.
Yeah.
But if you send somebody like Nabi and he gets out, that puts too much pressure on the youngsters, and that's the reason why they want these youngsters to come up and take their time and try and build a partnership.
Right. I also want to talk about Naveenul Haq. When he came out to bat today, the entire stadium was chanting Kohli's name. The fans getting involved in the stadium is another high point of this game, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, and I love it. And he took on Virat Kohli's arm when he ran for the second, isn't it? That was like, I'm daring you, run me out.
And he did it a couple of times.
But but you know what? We need such characters on the field. I mean, that is why we play the sport, and especially at the world class level, in the World Cup, you need characters from all teams to perform and to play with that kind of aggression. But I think the battle is yet to start. Naveenul Haq versus Virat Kohli. We'll get to see that. And talking about Afghanistan, Osama, the match is not over.
Yeah.
Afghanistan have got 3 very experienced and high quality spinners. And we have seen stranger things happen on the cricket field. But I do feel the kind of depth India have in the batting lineup, India should accomplish this run chase with ease.
And that is probably why India have got off to a decent start, a good start in fact. They are 30 odd runs in the 5th over. And it's basically, they basically want to take as many runs from the power plays before the spinners get involved. Do you feel that's also one of the strategies, Vijay bhai?
One of the spinners is always in action from Afghanistan side. If you see, Mujib had started the proceedings, and we were saying that he's very good with the new ball. Yeah. So he started. And in this partnership, they have added 33, where Rohit is batting on 27 in just 19 balls.
Yeah.
So he's showing that the last game against Australia also, he was playing that aggressive role. So that's what he's doing. And in the last game, Saba said it's going to be a very easy win for India. And in today's game, I'll take that call and say, although, we've been saying that they have a very good spin bowling unit, but I still feel it's going to be a very, very comfortable win for India.
Saba bhai, what do you reckon? A half century?
See, Afghanistan knows very well. See, Afghanistan knows quite well that to win this game, they need to take 10 wickets. And the only way they can do that is by utilizing all their main wicket takers. And when I say wicket takers, I'm looking at the three spinners, plus maybe, Navinul Haq, Fazal Haq, Farooqi. These are the bowlers. But your main wicket takers happen to be Mujibur Rahman and Rashid Khan. So they would love to get early wickets. That is one reason why Mujibur Rahman is bowling with the new bowler. But if Indian batters can sustain this kind of pressure or can play the spinners quite well, India should romp home quite easily. But talking about Ishan Kishan, I actually want to see him add one more dimension to his batting. Right now, we only see him bat in one gear. But I think the World Cup stage offers you to learn as you progress, as the match goes on. And I think one learning for Ishan Kishan would be to bat according to the condition and to adapt as much as possible, because India would be playing on different surfaces. And I think such player will excel who has that rare ability to adapt to different conditions and different opposition attack and try and build your innings according to that. Wherever it is required, remain aggressive, have that intent, but also have a very controlled kind of approach so that you are far more consistent than what we have seen so far from Ishan Kishan. That would be my advice to this young kid.
Right. I also want to get your thoughts on the fact that we heard a couple of the fans outside the stadium complaining about not getting the tickets, seats being empty inside the stadium, etc. What do you have to say about that? Because we did see a couple of seats empty in the stadium, and especially not just today, but also during the Chennai when India was playing in Chennai. So, is this something that should be concerning for the fans?
It should be, Osama. It is quite inexplicable as to why some seats are empty when you go on the site. It shows that all the tickets have been sold. So I don't know the intricacies of how all that transpires. But yes, the fans do get disappointed. But one suggestion from one of the fans is quite good. Why can't you put up a screen just like these Grand Slams abroad? So whenever there's a big game happening, if you can put up a large screen, at least all those who have not been able to get into the stadium can watch the game from outside. And there's so much excitement, even if they've not been allowed to go inside. There is so much of excitement. There's so much of support for the Indian team, and all that is because of the fans. And I've always said this, and I would like to reiterate again that Indian cricket is at this stage because of the support the Indian team receives from its fans, not only in India but globally.
Absolutely. Well, India has started well. They are 42 for 0 wickets in the 6th over. We'll keep tracking that update. Saba, Karim, Vijay, Dahiya, thank you very much for joining us on the show. We'll slip into a short break. News continues on the other side.